Hello, everyone. I'm Max Malik. I'm a senior undergraduate student at LSUA who's studying Management Information Systems. Today, I will be giving you a presentation of a project I worked on with a few of my classmates in the Physical Design and Implementation Database Management Systems course. So, um, so Dr. Lee, I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to be sharing with everyone at Scholar Day. Um, so right now, I'm going to pull that up on the video. Um, Here it is and present it. And obviously, in this moment here, when I'm giving a presentation at Scholar Day, I'll tell a person to go to the next slide. So this is where I'll do it, and I'll talk about everything that's there. So we had to create a database management system for a fake startup company called Video Express. So Video Express is a fake startup company that provides DVD movie renting services. Until recently, they only hosted DVD renting services at their brick and mortar business. However, earlier this year, they started an online service. The problems that the company is having with the new online service is that they have been having issues with alerting customers of requests for movies that are unable to be met due to a lack of stock, and with keeping their online service updated so that customers can see the current available copies of a movie that are in stock. These problems have proved quite costly and have caused the company to receive bad reviews as well as lose customers. Because of this, the manager has asked us to develop a database system that can handle all of their DVD movie rental needs. The database system contains an entity relationship diagram, also known as the ERD, a physical implementation diagram, and at least 5 SQL queries that could be written in the physical implementation diagram. The ERD is normalized in third normal form, and the physical implementation diagram is completed using Microsoft Access and can be used to write SQL queries. So the objective of this project is to create a database system that will assist the company in sustaining its competitive advantage by providing the company with the ability to accurately and effectively collect, store, and process data that can be used to support timely and quality decisions for the company's operational and strategic needs. The database system should also be sophisticated enough to handle the daily tasks that the company has to complete. The key deliverables of the project are a database system that the company can use to accurately and effectively collect, store, and process data that can be used to support timely and quality decisions for the company's operational and strategic needs. The ERD resulted from reviews of the description of the project, as well as from many discussions with my classmates to identify challenges and opportunities that might come from the project. The diagram explains the data stores and how the information that will be stored in them is related. There will be 6 data stores, which are customer information, movies in stock, movies checked out, movies returned, the cost of each movie, the movies that are currently in process, and the customer information that is related to that. A physical implementation diagram is also created by us in Microsoft Access to house the database system. The categories for that physical implementation diagram are movie ID number, movie title, quantity, movie genre, and the price for a rental of the movie. We have also created SQL queries in Microsoft Access to demonstrate the functionality of the database system. The SQL queries will be relevant to the company's operational and strategic needs and will showcase the database system's capability to retrieve and analyze data effectively. So the database system is important for the company's operations and strategic decision making because it allows the company to complete its daily task accurately and in a timely manner. For example, the company owns several DVD copies of different movies that can be rented many times over their lifetime. And one of the company's daily tasks is completing rental transactions. A rental transaction may involve one or more DVDs being rented to a customer for 24 hours. So this is the ERD diagram. So the customer rents a movie, and because of that, it produces a rental, and this rental would create an invoice. Um, And the invoice has the rental price, the payment type that was used, the date and when the invoice is due, and the amount of days the movie or movies is rented for. And then the customer would pay that invoice. So this is the database system that me and my classmates created in Microsoft Access. So as you can see, it has all of our SQL queries listed. For our project, me and my classmates created 5 of the queries, and then I created 5 more of them for my honors experience project that I did. So here are the tables of some of the information that we included in that Microsoft Access database system. So you have things like movie ID, movie title, the quantity of the amount of movies we have for that title, the movie genre, and then the price of each movie. We also have customer information. And we even took it further by including information such as where the customer is from and what their phone number is. So these are the SQL queries that we created. So obviously, Dr. Lee, in the Scholar Day presentation, I will not be able to show um, how we did it because it's just an oral presentation. I'm not showing off a computer program or anything. Um, but here, for the sake of this video, I'm going to stop and I'm going to show you um, how we got the 5 queries to work in our um, Microsoft Access file. So I'm going to escape from this PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to pull up the Microsoft Access file, and I'm going to clear this out. So to create the SQL queries, we went to the Create tab on here, and what we did for the basic query was we went to the Query Wizard, and we selected Simple Query Wizard, and we went and we added tables to, or we added fields from one of the tables we created in order to create the SQL query. And then the SQL query was generated on this file, and we were able to copy and paste it into the Word file that we submitted to you. And for this video, I'm just going to enter the SQL queries that we created from this project just because it's time consuming and I want to limit the amount of time I spent on this presentation. So I'm just going to enter the SQL queries that we created from that Word file onto here and run them. And then explain what each query means. All right, so I'm going to cancel this. And to create the SQL queries, I'm going to go into Query Design. And I'm going to right click on this query here. And I'm going to go into SQL View. All right, so it brings that. So then what I do is I go to the PowerPoint presentation that I created for Scholar Day. And I'm going to select the basic select query that we created. And I'm going to copy and paste it to here. So basically what we're doing with this is we're gonna have the customer member ID, the customer last name, first name, address, city, and state displayed on a table. So once we have the standard query language here in the SQL view, I would click Run, and then it displays the table that includes all the information that I mentioned. And let's see. So that's how we did the basic select query. So I'm going to save that as the basic select query 1. All right. And now I'm gonna move on to the aggregate query that we created. So I'm going to go back into create, query design, SQL view. I'm gonna pull up the SQL query for the aggregate query. So this SQL query that I'm about to run will count the amount of movies in each genre. So I'm gonna click on run, and it'll show the amount of movies for each genre. So action, it's got one movie, um, and it displays it by different subheadings. So like you have an adventure action movie, you have one for crime and thriller and war, and then you go into comedy, and it shows all that information here. So this is the aggregate query that me and my classmates created. So I'm going to save that as the aggregate query 1. And now I'm going to move on to the next query that we created, which is the join query. So I'm going to go back into the access file, create query design, SQL view. I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint and copy and paste this information here. So this SQL query that I'm about to run will show the information for when customer movie rentals are due. So I'm going to go into run, and it shows customer information and when their movie rentals due. You can see all the dates listed here. You could see the rental ID. You could see the customer member ID, and you could see the customer's last name and first name. All right, so I'm going to save that as the join query. All right. And now I'm going to go into the next query, which is the parameter query. So create, query design, SQL view. And I'm going to copy and paste the information for the parameter query. And for this one, once I run it, I'll be able to enter a city and see customers who live in that city. So I'm going to run this query, and I enter a city. So let's say I want to see the customers that live in Los Angeles, California. So basically you enter the city name, Los Angeles, and you click OK. And it shows all the customers that are located in Los Angeles. So I'm going to save this file as the parameter query. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to display another example of that parameter query. But I'm going to say, like, what if I wanted to find a customer for someone who lives in Louisiana? So I'm going to copy that and run it again. And for this city, I'm going to enter Baton Rouge. Or actually, no, I'm going to enter Alexandria. I'm going to press OK. And it displays this. And this means that none of the customers who bought movie rentals from us live in Alexandria, Louisiana, or Alexandria, Virginia, or any other states that have a city or town that's named Alexandria. So I'm not going to save this one. And then now I'm going to do the final query, that we created, and that's the action query. So I'm going to go into query design, change the view, and paste this. So what this is going to do is change the city location for people who we have living in Scranton to now living in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to run. And obviously earlier when we ran it, it had Scranton as the city name, and we tested the query, updated it, it changed to Philadelphia. So that's why it says we're going to update 0 rows. But in this case, if we were, I'd obviously run it. It'd say I'd have 1 row to update. I'd click yes on it. And then I'd go into the customer information. Well, obviously, I have to save this first. I'm going to save it as the action query. And then I'm going to go into the customer information where their city is displayed. And if you look through, you could see that everything for Scranton is changed to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had 4 people that lived in Scranton, and now we have them as living in Philadelphia. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the presentation, and I'm going to put it back in present view. And I'm going to go back to my last slide. And obviously during Scholar Day, this isn't going to happen. I won't be able to show the people the Microsoft Access file. I'll just show them this presentation. I'll be explaining everything what we did. So I'll show them all these SQL queries here. I'll show them the PowerPoint slide. I'll tell them what we did to create those queries. I won't get into too much detail, obviously, because I'll be on a time constraint. But I'll just say we used Query Wizard to create the basic select query, and then we used query design to create the rest of the queries. And then to get the SQL file, SQL information for it, we changed the view to SQL view, and that's how we got the information that they see on the PowerPoint presentation. So I'll show them an example of what I created for an SQL query, and I'll explain it to them. And then that's it. And then at the end, I'll try to leave 3 minutes for questions. So that's it for our presentation. Me and all of my classmates really enjoyed working on it. And yeah, I'm really glad that we had you as our professor. Right.